And therefore, with the lower centers when it gets disoriented, there is a disorientation of TPS. That is time, place and space. So there is a disorientation of time, place and therefore they are not able to connect to the dimensions. Dimensional disorientation happens. The step looks too long because there is heightened sensations of the lower centers of brain and therefore there is disorientation. यहाँ का चीज वहाँ लगेगा. Distance cannot be calculated, time cannot be calculated, space cannot be calculated, steps cannot be calculated, and therefore this disorientation itself makes them feel light. The light feeling is what? The light feeling is about this disorientation. अरे हल्का लग रहा है. When you are oriented, you know the boundaries. When you are oriented, you know the boundaries. That this square feet is this much is the square feet. But when disorientation happens, you do not know the boundaries. And therefore you do not know your steps. And therefore you do not know the dimensions. And therefore you start touching anywhere, everywhere, which sounds funny for you. You are not completely out of senses. Senses are there, but you cannot measure them. That is the state in cannabis. Haste raha to haste raha, because they do not know when to stop, where to stop. If they start doing one particular act, they keep on doing that act till the effect is there. Why? Because they are not oriented. They do not know where the full stop is. Full stop gives the boundary. But for cannabis-like state, there is nothing called full stop. So they do not know the boundaries. One of the patients said, "Sir, आप कैसे अगर line sentence you are writing, you write a full stop, ना?" So I said, meaning that line is ended. Meaning that much only you have to understand in that line. लेकिन ये इसका नशा ऐसे है कि उधर full stop पे आप पढ़ते जाओ उसका कोई खत्म ही नहीं. There is no end to that thing. Whether another line has different meaning also, there is no meaning only to that. It goes on and on and on. It is that type of funny thing. So what I understood from that is that there is no boundary. And therefore, when there is no boundary, you do not know, you don't have calculation. And when you do not have calculation, then is your way of walking, way of steps, way of movement, everything you can see in Materia Medica, gives you the idea. Small steps look like long steps, small distance looks like long. What is it? This is because of this particular idea that cannabis affects the higher centers first, and therefore the consciousness, behavior and intellect, this is disoriented. दिन है कि रात है पता नहीं. Consciousness is disoriented, not consciousness is completely collapsed. That's why the word disorientation. Right? So it just shifts. Collapse nahi. Unlike what you can see from the shock family, the consciousness is collapsed. You become unconscious. Are you getting? You become numb. See, here there is no numbness. Here there is only disorientation. And once that starts happening, so you are now mildly semi. Your behavior is mild as far as natural behavior is concerned. Your intellect again is mildly disoriented. And with that what happens, because of the result of this, time, place, space gets disoriented. And therefore, unlike alcoholism, they do not get aggressive. Because alcoholism at a certain point of time, it completely makes the nervous system to dysfunction. Here they are functional but disoriented. Are you getting the picture? Therefore, they do not get aggressive, they enjoy. They are laughing at what they are doing. Are you getting? This is the state of cannabis. Someone wanted to ask.
Sir, the theme of excitement is also in the cannabis.
This is exactly. This excites, everything excites. Imagine. The video is here and I am looking. मेरे को लग रहा है यहाँ पर है, मैं इसको छूने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. This itself is an excitement for me. क्या है? This कुछ तो लग रहा है यहाँ पे कपास के पास गिरा है करके. This disorientation itself an excitement for me because I find it funny. Just imagine you being disoriented, how funny you will feel. You are not lost contact with your senses. Senses are, that's why I said mild. Consciousness is mild, behavior is mild, intellect is mildly affected. And then you imagine what happens to you. तुम अपना खुद का एक मजाक का पात्र का आनंद लेते हो. Whereas in alcohol, what happens is it slowly numbs the senses and keeps the memory on. And that's why you will see them talking the same thing again and again. If you have ever observed it. एक ही मुद्दा रहता है, रोज शाम को ही मुद्दा बात करें. दूसरा मुद्दा ही नहीं रहता, फिक्स बैठ गया उसके अंदर. But cannabis doesn't have that. Cannabis, every moment the sensitivity of distance and all that thing changes, and then they find it very strange. अरे कहाँ रखूं मैं पैर? सर यहाँ जरा तेरे को वही दिख रहा है क्या? मेरे को जो दिख रहा है? You saw that Nana Patekar is in one of the movie. What's the movie that याद नहीं है? It's very strange behavior they do, and they laugh over it. That's why this is a type of excitement that they have.
They get confused and they laugh at their confusion.
Yes.
Bang, they think.
Bang, they do, yes.
So you said that in alcohol, what is lost? Alcohol.
Senses lost, memory remains. And with that past memory, they keep talking, blabbering. Whereas for opium, it blocks the neurotransmitter. And when it blocks the neurotransmitter junction, it just doesn't allow any information to go through. And that is how they cut off their senses and become numb. Opium numbs the senses. Whereas cannabis stimulates, semi-stimulate the senses to create that particular disorientation. So opium doesn't cause disorientation, it numbs. Total cut off, खत्म. Anesthetic हो गया. अब मेरे को कुछ समझता नहीं क्या हो रहा है बाहर. Since this is cannabis partial, therefore it is in second. In and out. अंदर के मालूम है क्या चल रहा है, बाहर का भी दुनिया मालूम है क्या चल रहा है. मेरे को मजा भी आ रहा है, but मेरे को senses में नहीं आ रहा. Right? So you don't, when you look at cannabis wala person, you don't look at them, you don't get the feeling that they're drunk. You get the feeling that there is some problem with their senses. किसको रास्ता समझ रहा है लेकिन इसको अंतर नहीं समझ रहा. This is the idea that you get. Whereas for the alcoholics, you will see the swinging and the falling. But cannabis will not give that swinging and falling. They will give you the distance ka place ka, or touch ka place ka, the length of touch, the breadth of place. This is it. And if you see opium, वो पड़ा रहेगा उधर. तुम कुछ भी हिलाओ, you lift him, throw him, do anything. He is totally cut off to the outside world.